Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around and talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we have some updates and some other team stuff going on that I want to talk about. So let's just jump straight to the video. Starting off, yes, of course, there is some curse on this channel where the biggest news in our division always breaks out an hour after I post my last video for the week for Friday. But we're getting to it now. Micah Parsons, no longer a Cowboy. He's on the Green Bay Packers. This one had me falling to my knees when I read this news. So there was a trade after Micah Parsons had been expressing how badly he wanted out for, new contract not being handled, slash he wasn't sure where the team was going and if, they're going to succeed anymore. So he wanted out, and instead of just, going after a new contract and taking the money and being quiet, he went through with it. There was a trade for the Green Bay Packers with the Dallas Cowboys, sending Micah Parsons to the Packers in exchange for 2 first-round picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. Now, Kenny Clark's a good player. 2 first-round picks, pretty nice. But man, you lost a generational talent. Like, I know Cowboys fans are not happy about this. How could you be, right? But that's a lot. That's a lot you're losing for a big what if in a couple picks. And then I guess you got Kenny Clark. But I guess they wanted Jerry Jones was getting pummeled with questions about it. And I guess it was finally time for him to do something. He said during the press conference that the move is what they wanted to do because they wanted, I guess with Micah, they weren't doing good enough. So they wanted to move on from him and do something else. And then he also said, we have to stop the run and a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, Jerry Jones dragged this on. Like, he made one question drag up for 13 minutes. I think this is dumb. I think Jerry Jones's excuses and reasons for why he did this were dumb, and I think it's baloney. But what's even dumber about it is now he's in my division. That's the part that sucks for Lions fans, is now we have to see him twice a year. Certainly both for the Cowboys all the way up to ownership. Parsons played roles in the conclusion everyone came to 1 week before Dallas's opener in Philadelphia. So what does this mean for the NFC North? Well, Jared Goff is not the kind of guy who takes very many hits because of our own line, and for that reason, he's for the most part stayed very healthy, knock on wood. But Micah Parsons is an angry tackler, and we have to see him 2 times a year now, and one of the times is the season opener. This has got me a little worried. He hits hard, and Jared Goff he's a tough guy. I love him, but I'm worried for what's going to happen if Micah Parsons gets in the backfield and just sumos this guy. So I'm scared, and I think it's going to cause a big power struggle in the NFC North now because the Packers, who I originally said were a little soft defensively, now have Micah Parsons. So that my trackman's totally rescinded. His 4 years with the Cowboys, he accumulated 256 combined tackles, 84 of those were assisted, 52 and a half sacks over 4 years. I mean, no interceptions, whatever. 52 and a half sacks. Oh my God. Like, these are stats I'm worried about. And it's like, yeah, we have Hutch. So it's like, yeah, sure, that balances out, whatever. And we have a great O-line. But that's not, I mean, he's going to record some stats. We just need to hope that we are so clicky and getting stuff off fast that it's not even going to be a problem. This one scares me, guys. Let me know if I'm overreacting to this, right? If is one player, one player doesn't make the whole team. But he's pretty good. If there was going to be, he's pretty good. I'm worried about this. I also don't think it's going to make the Packers immediately the best team in the NFL, but it definitely makes them a little scarier to worry about on defense. O-line, you guys are going to have to go crazy, man. You guys are going to have to go crazy against this guy because he is relentless and he is fired up now. And we're playing them week 1, and he's got something to prove. So I'm worried about it. But I think overall we should be fighting against the Packers still. Their offense is not wowing me, and it didn't really wow me last year. Maybe Matthew Golden's the other truth on the offensive side. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I think Jerry Jones made a dumb decision because he wasn't happy in a guy who didn't want to be at practice. I mean, he got 2 first-round picks out of it. You can't really, I mean, if from a non-biased perspective, 2 first-round picks is pretty good, and you got a good defensive tackle. I guess it's a okay trade, but like you guys already know, Madden wouldn't even accept this trade. They thought it was too little. So I don't know. I guess if that's what the Cowboys wanted, you got your picks. Go get some studs with those and Green Bay's got their guy now because they must really have faith in Jordan Love if they're going to give up their future like that. They must think he's the guy. So let me know what you guys think. We're going to move on to our second topic. We are talking about more trust in Jack Campbell. Yeah, I love it. Jack Campbell's getting more trust. He's entering his third season. In 2023, he was the first round pick, isn't just being asked to hold down his role as physical, versatile linebacker. He's being handed the responsibilities of the green dot. So what does the green dot mean? If you don't know, the green dot basically means he's relaying defensive calls, essentially serving as the on-field extension for our defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard. He said, for me, going into my third year, drafted here, same head coach, same defense, everything's kind of the same. Campbell told NFL defensive end Chris Long on a recent episode of his podcast, Green Light Podcast. So it's kind of nice having some familiarity. And then when Dan Campbell, came up and said that Jack Campbell would handle the green dot duties, I was just super excited for the opportunity, but I'm not going to put so much pressure on myself to be somebody who I'm not. Consistency has always been the name of the game for Campbell. He didn't say that last part, but it's true. It's always been the name of the game for Jack Campbell. He's just been our rock on defense, and I think he's absolutely deserving of a bigger step like this. I think we're giving him this responsibility now, this early, is now going to make him develop into such a great player this year. Then next year, I think we're going to see someone completely different. Pardon me, from the last 2 years. I think with him too is the way he's been developing, and he's just he got into he didn't really wow me when he got here. He did really good last year, but didn't make me jump up and down. I think we're just going to consistently see him get better though, like he's already been doing, and we are going to see a crazy high-level linebacker out of him. I mean, we picked him first round, and he earned it, absolutely. I think, especially for him with his consistency, not even in NFL, and football and college too, at Iowa, under Kirk Ferentz, he was taught important values of being steady, being tough, especially in his position, and those two attributes now really define the way he plays. He has been like this ever since he was in college. So more trust this year could be what we really need for him to see this huge breakout this year. I think we give him a higher load because we know he's the kind of player who can handle it. That's why we grabbed him so early. And we kind of force the leader out of him right now, right? And knowing that he's going to be the future of our linebacking core, hopefully, right? This is going to be really good for him. This is going to be good for the team. And I think long-term, this is a good decision. Detroit was still able to pull off 15 wins last year and an NFC North championship, despite our injuries. And some of that, despite the injuries, is because of Jack Campbell, just again, to his consistency. He's evidence of the team's resilience and the refusal to stop because of excuses, right? He was always in the games last year. He was very, very reliable, I would say, knowing that we still would have a stud like him to hold up the defense, even though it was in shambles by the end of it. And Jack Campbell even said, it's not going to be perfect. He said, there's going to be days where I fall short and there's going to be days where it's really good, but it's like, how can I just stay steady and consistent? So he knows that it's not going to be it's not going to be perfect right off the bat. He's doing something new, but he knows that staying consistent is his thing, and he's going to discipline himself. I'm really, really cool to see what he's going to do. He's fired up. Same mentality as what David Montgomery was talking to. He's been saying the last 2 years, it's kind of a tough way to end the season. We just need to finish it. And now they're giving him, hey, be the guy to help finish it. Be our defensive guy now. And I think this has just got him even more fired up. I think the added responsibility is going to help him develop quicker. And I think we're going to see a breakout year from Jack Campbell, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully. Not going to jinx anything yet. Knock on wood, all that good stuff. Lions fans can't have anything nice. We know this. But that's what I'm thinking about that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think we're going to see a huge jump from him this year, or do you think it's going to take another year before we see this huge, huge breakout from a player like him? Let me know what you guys think. We're going to go to our third topic. So we've done strength and weaknesses before, but now that the cuts are finalized, what is overall the Lions' biggest gaps? And strengths. We're a week away from the season when Detroit Lions football. We have our full 53-man with a 16-man practice squad, and our roster is excellent, but it's not perfect. Coach Dan Campbell said earlier in this week, you'll always be chasing perfection in the NFL, and it's not really something obtainable until you get to that dynasty level team, right? So what are our strengths? I think hands down, the Lions have the best running back room in the NFL. Period. Not only do we have Jahmyr Gibbs, the speedster, he's got strength too, young, he's in his prime, but we also have David Montgomery, who's that bruiser. And the backup behind those two is Craig Reynolds, who is a solid backup. He's a solid backup, and we just have him just in case. So, Vaki's our special teams weapon, who showed some real promise in the offseason, preseason. Our running back group, pardon me, is elite. The Lions also have a ton of receiving talent. I think I talk about this every single video. St. Brown and JMO are dangerous. You have a guy who catches everything and a guy who can outrun anybody. Pick your poison. Pick your poison. Because a team, unless the team is like one of those elite defensive teams, like, no-fly zone, the steel curtain, like, you can't cover both those guys perfectly every single play. You just can't. One of them is going to end up being open. Sam Laporta, vertical threat. Isaac Tesla, he's going to be in the mix now. We're going to see what he can do with his big body. Like, I'm just saying, we have such a good receiving room. Not the best, but, like, definitely, I'm going to say definitely top 5. Our offense has been consistently our biggest strength, and these are good reasons why. Defense, let's talk about defense. Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch, best safety duo in the league. Neither one of them is the best safety, but duo-wise, no one's beating them right there. They're behind a young, strong set of corners, DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, Amik Robertson. The depth is the issue, right? But the starters are good, especially with Terrion Arnold developing in this offseason the way we've seen him do it. I have faith. And Detroit has phenomenal depth when it comes to linebacking crew, right? So somewhere where we do have good depth. We got Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone. They have a chance to be one of the best units on the whole team. Especially going back to our last topic, talking about Jack Campbell, especially now that he's this added responsibility, there is a good chance him being kind of taking that more responsibility role is going to work out phenomenally for us. And we're finally giving him the chance to do what he did in college, right? That gets me excited. And the backups are great. Grant Stewart's a menace on special teams, in a force in defending the run. Zach Cunningham, I love that signing. But he brings 9 seasons, has got the veteran knowledge, 86 starts to experience with the room. And Trevor Nowaski is a strong special teamer who finally gives Detroit an adequate backup, Sam, who does have experience playing the middle linebacker role. That doesn't even count Malcolm Rodriguez, who's been on the PUP list, but he's expected to return sooner than we thought. We'll talk about that a little sooner. The depth at linebacker is fantastic, and we have a lot of guys to move around with and keep it shuffled so everyone's not getting tired. I love that part. What's our weaknesses? Well, let me be the broken record again this week. Edge depth is one of our biggest weaknesses. It's been one of the biggest talking points all offseason, and it certainly remains a relative concern. Go gets Darius Smith. But while most of these worries are unfairly assumed the shortcomings or the inevitable injury of Marcus Davenport, there are more legitimate concerns than just hearsay and here we go again, right? It's the rotation. It's keeping guys in who are going to be consistent rotating so Hutch doesn't, drain himself playing every single snap. The Lions recently added Tyrus Wheat via waivers, signed Andre Carter to the practice squad, but it's early and hard to see if they're going to fit in the way we want them to perfectly into the rotation because it's so early. And also if we're going to get somebody who's on the level of Davenport, not going to be on the level of Hutch, but we need to at least get someone who can step up to that second position. I think O-line depth is an issue. And not to say our starters I love and I have total faith in, but it's a position where you get every time, and we know injuries are bound to happen in a position like that. And it's not necessarily a crazy depth room. I mean, behind Christian Mahogany, Taylor Decker, Graham Glasgow, Tate Ratledge, and Penny Sewell, we got Jamarco Jones, Coyote Owasika, Kingsley Eguakun, Miles Frazier, who's out right now, which that sucks because he's the guy I'm like, oh, yeah, Giovanni Manu, and Justin Heron and Colby Swordsall, who are both on injury reserve. So that's an issue. That's a bit of an issue. That scares me a little bit, especially because we all got scared of the Graham Glasgow injury. What if it could happen at any time, guys? He got lucky. I'm just saying that's a scary one. And finally, quarterback depth. Listen, Kyle Allen proved himself in the preseason. He proved to be a competent passer, protects the ball. But let's just be honest and just say what we're all thinking. If Goff goes down, knock on wood, that's it. That's it. That's our season. I don't think Kyle Allen has the skill to or I don't want to knock on Kyle Allen, but it's like it's Jared Goff who we know can do it, and Kyle Allen who's still kind of unproven. Still, like, do we trust him with a high caliber offense against defenses who on our schedule are going to be really hard to play against? I don't, not to knock on Kyle Allen, but I think we know Goff goes down. That's no good. We do need to start looking for a backup quarterback in the next few seasons. Someone competent. That's why Bridgewater being gone was like, oh, because that was the safe option. But we'll figure it out. It's not something I'm like too hung up on right now. O-line depth, though. Let's get on that. Let's get on that, guys. That's what I think about that. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what would you say differently? Are there other weaknesses I'm missing? Are there other offensive stuff you would mention? Let me know what you guys think. And then that's going to take us to our fourth and final topic. Just quickly updating injuries. Miles Frazier placed on the PUP list Tuesday. I just want this guy to come back and be healthy and be a great next guy for our O-line. That's all I'm going to say on that. Ezekiel Turner placed on injury reserve Tuesday because of a foot injury. Let's get him back in the mix. We know depth's huge. And then Malcolm Rodriguez, the one I wanted to talk about, placed on the PUP list in July and has been like officially now on the list because of the cuts and whatever, because we kept him. He's progressing well, though. He's said that he's been taking it so seriously. And now some trainer, Dan Campbell is even saying it could be back sooner than we think. It was supposed to be by like October, but now they're saying it could be end of September. All that means is that we're going to get him back sooner than we thought and have another great guy with great energy that fits the team, that the team loves him. He's one of the guys. Having him back is going to be so good for morale, and it's going to get me hype as well. Hopefully that awards the team well. But we are out of time today. We went way too far on one of the topics. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point of the video, let me know what you guys think about the strengths and weaknesses, and also what do you guys think about Micah Parsons. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss a single video. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.